we're going to go ahead and dive in. Thanks everybody for joining our webinar today. We are so excited about the national conference. It's going to be happening in DC this year, and we know we've got a lot of competitors and a lot of students that are just super excited and anxious about coming, and we want to make sure that everybody gets registered correctly. So there's no issues and no disappointments or no frustrations. So we thought we would put together this webinar. This is part 2 in our series of conference registrations. Last month, we did a webinar on how to register for competitions. So anyone that is a competitor should take that step first before they engage in this step to make sure that they get registered for their competition and then register for the conference. So if you missed that webinar, that is posted in the Teacher Leader Resources section, so you can go back and watch that. It is also in this kind of the step-by-step guide as to how to register for the competition is in every competition guideline. So if you haven't checked out those national competition guidelines, I highly recommend you do it so that your student is prepared for what's going to happen at nationals and make sure that they understand how to get everything submitted. So please take a look at that webinar, take a look at those competition guidelines before coming to this part. I'm going to turn it over to Noor here in just a second, who's going to walk you through how to actually register for the conference itself once you've completed that competition part. So Noor, take it away.
Thank you, Robin. I'm Noor. I'm a membership associate. I'm sure I've worked with a lot of you throughout the year. So let's go ahead and get started. There is a Q&A chat. If you have any questions throughout this webinar, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. My colleague Peyton will be answering them, so don't be shy. All right, so let's start with, where do you go to register? Please go ahead and type in educatorsrising.org, which will lead you to our website. On the top, you will find a banner from where you want to select the conference tab. Here you will see our national conference page. Whether you're a returning or a brand new teacher leader, we highly recommend clicking through this page. There's a lot of information, opportunities. It's just very helpful. You can also see a glimpse of what our conference looked like last year. There's also a tentative schedule that you can download here as well. So to get to registration, you want to scroll down till you see the square called registration. And here you will see 3 different options, whether you're registering as a student competitor, a student non-competitor, or an adult attendee. So also underneath these links are the 3 discount codes. We're getting a lot of questions about discount codes. You can very easily find them on our website on the registration page. Depending on which hotel you're staying at, you can enter the corresponding discount code. So let's go ahead and register as a student competitor. You will see that for competitors, we let them know, as Robin mentioned earlier, that if you do not register for your competition prior to registering for the conference, you may not be able to compete. So as long as that first box is checked, the student can then proceed to click this link, which will lead them to the actual registration site. So here you see 2 options, new registration and modify. For those of you who have already created your registrations and you would like to go back and maybe add a bundle or a meal card, or you just need to edit your email or your address, you can absolutely do that by selecting modify, entering the email address that was used to register, and then your last name with the first letter capitalized. So we're just going to go back and continue with a new registration. Here you will be asked to select which category you are. I am going to be an Educators Rising student. And here you will be asked to enter your email address. So I'm going to use this test account. And let's pretend I'm staying at the Marriott. So I'm going to type in the code. And now it shows the updated discounted rate. So I went from $399 to $299. All right, on this page, you will be asked to fill out all required fields. So the second one here is one of our most frequently asked questions. Where is my member ID number? What is my member ID number? So for teacher leaders, really easily, you can find that information for your entire chapter by going to the teacher leader resources page, which lives on the membership portal. And you can go to your roster and you will find all of your students' member IDs. For your own, you can just go to your profile and the number you see at the top will be pasted. And then go ahead and fill out the rest of the required fields. Just gonna make up an address. And then you will be asked to upload a parent guardian consent and release from liability form. This is for all students. And then you will also be asked to upload as a student your personal conduct agreement form. You can click on the link and download and sign it and upload it. Just gonna go ahead and upload my sample forms. Please let us know your race and gender. And if you have any dietary restrictions, please do let us know. A part of the registration fee are 2 complimentary lunches. So we want to be able to accommodate you as best as possible. So letting us know that would be great. T-shirt size, we're asking this not because a free t-shirt comes with all registrations, but because we would like a better understanding of what sizes to order for the Educators Rising store that is at the conference. So that is why we're collecting that data. And then let us know if you're a presenter, a state officer, or a first-time attendee, and go ahead and hit continue. Here you will see the agenda for the conference. You can also download the tentative schedule on the conference page, as I showed earlier. Now the fun part. So here is our options page. We offer bundles, swag bundles, and there are 3 different types ranging from $30 to $80. They have all sorts of fun, customized merchandise, such as sweatshirts, conference pins, Eddie Bears. There's also a tumbler this year, which is pretty similar to the Stanley, which is really exciting. And if any of you are interested in representing us throughout the year, buying any of this, I would highly recommend buying this pre-registration because a lot of these items sell out fast at the conference. And then at the bottom here, you will find that we are offering a meal card add-on this year. So this is basically a $100 Grubhub gift card, which can be used at any restaurant that works with Grubhub. And we're really hoping that this option can help those chapters out whose districts or schools are more likely to cover the funding for options and selections that are made in the registration process rather than requesting for reimbursement after the event. So hopefully this can make it way more easy for you guys to get lunches, dinners, whatever you need while you're here in DC. And then we will move on to the housing reservation page. So here you will be asked to select which you will be staying at. So we are aware that the Marriott and the Westin are pretty booked, and it's very difficult for a lot of teachers to secure rooms at either. This is why we have now, if we go back to the conference page and scroll down, there's a square called hotel and local information. If you go here, you will now see at the top that we have listed a link for a third-party travel planner where you can find hotel availability. We cannot guarantee that you will find the same hotel rate, but we can guarantee that you will still have the same discount rate as the rest of the attendees. The code for this third-party hotel, if you're going through this option, is listed along with the rest of the discount codes right here. So this would be the code for those folks who are unable to secure a room at either the Marriott or the Westin. As our organization grows and each conference goes by, we are experiencing a record number of attendees, and we're trying our best to accommodate the growth. And we really appreciate everyone's cooperation and patience with us on this process. So I'm going to go ahead and select Marriott and hit continue. And now you see that you will be asked whether you're registering any other attendees for this event. So for teachers who would love all of their students on one invoice, you can just easily give that to your district and they can cut a check or whatever it is they need to do. Please select yes. We're having a lot of teachers or students individually register, and then we get emails asking for everyone to be put on one invoice. And that can save a lot of manual work on our team's end by just selecting yes. And if you hit continue, you'll see that your registration at the top is done, but then you can proceed to duplicate the process for your students. So that is how you can make a group registration. And once you complete it, you will have one itemized invoice containing everyone. But I am not going to do that. And I'm going to just say no. I'm a solo attendee. And I'm going to hit continue. And here you will see an overview of all of your information. Please review this to make sure everything looks correct. Scroll all the way to the bottom where you will see the balance, the cancellation policies, and the payment options. So right off the top, cancellations received on or before June 1st will receive a full refund, but no refunds will be granted after June 1st. Please make note of this. Substitutions, however, are permitted at no additional charge. You can just give us a call and we'll take care of it. So let's continue to method of payment. A lot of you are not paying for your fees. Your schools are covering it, and that's why we've offered an invoice option. You can just select invoice and you will be asked to fill out who you want the invoice to be billed to. And I know a lot of you need W-9s, so you don't even need to email or call us for that. You can just click this. Oh, looks like it's not linked correctly. We'll fix that, but it can be found right here. And also it's on the teacher leader resources page as well, the W-9. So let's hit make payment. And here you will see the option to download your invoice. Here it is. And when you scroll to the bottom, you will find again the payment deadlines, the cancellation and substitution policies, and the contact information for how you can reach us. We make this very clear on all of our invoices, so there are no confusions, there's no discrepancies about when payments, refunds, and cancellations are due. Also, you can find at the top of this invoice your reference number. Your reference number can really come in handy if you need to email us with any requests or any changes. You can really help us find your registration quicker by just giving us this number instead of all of your students' names or email addresses. And then going back, that would be the end of the registration process. So do we have any questions in the chat so far, or anything you would like me to go into depth about?
We did have one question and I did answer it, but it might be beneficial to show them where to do this.
Sure.
I had a teacher ask if you are registering other adults and students both when you're doing that additional step of adding on people.
Mhm.
You just show them where that category is, where you can click a different division on that section. So I don't know if
Yeah, let
anyone
me go
noticed this when we were first registering, but when you click on registering as a competitor or registering as a teacher, you still do have to select on that first or first or next page which specific it's for. So there'll be one Educators Rising member, student, teacher, judge, etc. under one category. So you will have the opportunity to select which category you're needing to edit.
I guess I didn't complete that registration. That's why it's not showing that. But yeah, let me log into my personal one. Was that the only question, Peyton?
No, we have another question, and I was just on this main page as well. I'll go ahead and verbally answer it for you guys. There's a question that says, is there a way to find the bundle options before registering the students for conference? Yes, there is. On that same page, when you click on registrations, if you scroll down past the buttons where you can click student, non-competitor, etc., and you keep scrolling down to the fee section. Once you get past the hotel information as well as all registration inclusion, you'll see conference registration add-ons, which are swag bundles, power bundles, all of that information. So on that registration page, you will see all of that listed out for each of the bundles, what they include and the cost of them.
Right here. Again, this information, educatorsrising.org, select the conference tab, and then scroll down to registration. That's how you find this.
One thing to really point out, these bundles that you're pre-ordering do have to be picked up at the conference. We will not be shipping them or refunding them after the conference if they're not picked up. So just be aware of that. Another thing that was just discovered, our code, if you're using a hotel outside of either the Marriott or Westin, currently on the website is incorrect. It should be 2024 at the end and it just has 24. So we're working to get that corrected. But if you're trying to use that code and it's not working, just put 2024 instead of 24, just the 24, and it will work and we'll get it corrected really soon.
Yes, and that is listed right here that no refunds will be offered for bundles that aren't picked up. And also, meal cards must be purchased by May 15th. And to answer I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was to say, and just for anyone who may not know and joined a little bit later, if you have a question, please do put it in the Q&A section on the bottom of your screen. If you kind of hover your mouse, you should be able to see that. So we have plenty of time for questions. Just keep popping them in that Q&A section, please.
And to just address the question we received earlier about registering more attendees. So I selected yes, and I will be asked to select the membership category for that attendee right here.
Answering another one of these questions live in case anyone else has them. We just got another one. Did we mention how to get the discounted registration of $299 if you're unable to stay at the conference hotels? Yes, we are having it. We do have a code on our webpage
Right
here. There is a slight issue, and if you just joined and you didn't hear Robin, we do have a slight.
It's been fixed.
Wow, love it.
Debbie's quick.
Okay, so if you use that code in the same section where you would use the code for the other hotels, that will give you that same discount for your conference registration.
And all discount codes are found on the registration page right underneath the links to register, all three of them.
There's a couple of different questions in there. Are we planning to release rooms at the Westin tomorrow? We have no more rooms available. All of our Westin rooms have been taken up and we can't get any more blocks on that. So we suggest you do use that reg link that we have on the hotel page, and that will get you rates in the nearby area. Like Nora had said at the beginning, we can't guarantee those are, you know, the same rates as what the conference hotel has, but it at least will shop hotels for you in that area and get you the best rate nearby. There was also a question about, do we have to be registered before the conference before we reserve our hotel? No, you do not. And I see one, and I'll take this one, Peyton, because it's kind of confusing. If I register all my students, can they go in individually with their own credit card for bundles and meal plans? We can accommodate that. It's a little tricky because I don't believe online is going to allow you to do a partial payment. You would have to contact us, I think, to take that payment partially through our system and leave that balance.
We also had a question, and I'll say this for anyone, because I think this is really beneficial information. We had a teacher ask, will you show us how to register a student to compete? We actually did host a webinar a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I might be hazy on the details of when that was exactly, but very recently. And we did record that webinar. It is located where Nora is showing you right now, which is in your teacher leader resources. If you look there, you see how to register students for the national conference and competitions. That will be a full tutorial walkthrough on how to do so. And then if you see here right below that, how to register students for Educators Rising National Conference, this is that current webinar, and we will be continuing to update these with all the webinars we host. Again, this is on your main teacher leader resources page. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom.
So how you can get here, let me just show them, is on the left-hand side navigation menu. You want to scroll down till you see the tab that says Educators Rising High School Resources. And from the drop down, you want to select Teacher Leader Resources. And at the top, you'll find the roster where I mentioned earlier, all of the member IDs live for your students that are required to register for the conference and the competitions. And then at the bottom, you'll find, as Peyton mentioned, all of the recordings of our webinars are here for you to visit at any time. And this one is being recorded and will be linked here, I'm assuming by next week.
And it says, and I know you said it keeps telling us they aren't members. I would double check on your students' profiles that they are showing that they are active members. Nora, could you show me maybe that file that we were looking at earlier? That way you can see what your students' membership should look like.
Wait, do you mean the membership?
The test account, please.
Okay.
Yeah. That way we can kind of show you exactly what you need to be looking for when your students are pulling up their accounts. And again, you can find any of your students who are active paid members with their school attached on your roster like Nora just showed you. But this is what your account will look like. Some of this is a little bit extra from our end as admin, but you will see this exact information in terms of member since 1/6/2022 in green, as well as their active memberships in that right-hand corner. If you're not seeing that for whatever reason, you need to double check that your students, if you sent a check, that check was received and entered into our system. Or if you know that check was entered and they received it, contact our email so we can make sure that there wasn't duplicate bills on the account and it was applied incorrectly. So double check that your student is an active member. The links should be working. Everything is open. So you may need to contact us directly to kind of troubleshoot your error. And I'm sorry, I'm just looking through these.
And that same resources page has access to the national competitions page as well. So for those of you who are new and aren't aware of this page, we can't emphasize it enough. All of your materials, resources, the checklist Robin was mentioning earlier, the guide for competitions, here's the checklist. So really bookmark this page in your browser as the teacher leader resources page, because throughout the school year, it's really your best friend, and it's cultivated to make your job as a teacher leader as easy as possible. Any other questions?
You in the chat, I'm just going through them. Now, Robin, I don't know if we have specific stipulations on this, but we did have a question. Do we have to register for the conference before we can reserve a hotel?
No, they
Yeah,
don't.
we don't require that. Obviously, you know, doing both as soon as you can, but if you need to get secure a hotel first, you can go ahead and do that.
I will say that be respectful of how tight our room blocks are and do not reserve more rooms than you actually need. We've had this happen in the past where people go in and block 30 rooms, but really they only have 15 people coming, and they prevent other people from getting into the hotel. They book outside the hotel, and then those rooms get canceled. So do not book any rooms that you do not plan to use.
And also, the early bird deadline is fast approaching, April 8th. So really important to get those registrations submitted by the deadline if you're wanting to be.
And that's also the deadline for your students to send in their put their applications in for their competitions. So remember, they have got to, if they are competing, put their application in for their competition before anything. You can always do a conference registration until our deadline for that, but if they are competing students, they have got to be in by the April 8th deadline. And Norby, like I sent you a message, but someone had a question. If we just quickly just show where to find those teacher leader resources.
Yep.
On that side. So once you're on your profile, you are gonna have this left hand side drop down. Again, our apologies, this is have a little bit more stuff due to us having admin access. But you will just have your main screen that you get on, and then you will see Educators Rising High School resources that you will click on. It'll drop down. As a teacher leader, you will not see the state and regional coordinator resources. You will only see the teacher leader resources and student resources. And then once you get there, this is where you'll have a plethora of information. And I believe, and Nora, if you scroll all the way down to our webinars, we also do have, I want to say, did we not have a webinar where we went through the resources saved here?
It's a part of the how to register. It's the second half.
That's what I thought. So if you need a little update of what your resources are, what's in there, go ahead and check out the how to join your student, join and register students. There might be some parts you can skip, obviously, if you've already registered your students, but we do a full walkthrough of some of your resources. So it's really helpful for you to check that out as well.
And also, a lot of people miss this link at the top. Whether you're new or returning, it can be overwhelming to keep all of the deadlines in track and know what's coming up when. So we have this dates to know by date document at the top, which is fantastic to just download and have bookmarked or printed somewhere in the classroom. Everything in blue is when things open, and everything in red are deadlines. And you can also download this by dates to know by topic. So membership, ambassador, conference, scholarship. So you know exactly what department you're kind of looking under for information. And a more visually aesthetic version of that would be the roadmap, the road ahead poster, which is a more exciting way to look at the school year ahead, and also print and have this posted just to know what's coming up, because there is a lot to keep track of. So again, those are found on the teacher leader resources page, dates to know at the top. And then the welcome kit is where you can find our welcome guide, the road ahead poster, a teacher orientation slide deck, and all that good stuff.
We did have another question, will there be a shuttle from all hotels to the conference hotel? So we are not able to manage that. All of the hotels that are in the area for that, link that we have there will be, they're kind of in that same area, and we have like the zip code listed, obviously, for those 2 hotels. There is not a way for us to schedule a shuttle from all those hotels, depending on where people are staying. That will unfortunately be up to individuals to have to figure that out. I'm trying to find.
So
Most,
these are the transportation options we've listed on the website.
so most of the overflow hotels are in walking distance. I will say the Westin is kind of a block and a half at an angle across from the Marquee. Some of the others in the area are within a 5 or 10 minute walk, and it's sidewalks, it's not busy streets kind of thing, so you should be fine. If you're a state representative and are needing to know who has registered, we ask that you wait at least until after the early bird deadline before you start asking us who has registered, because for the most part, we can't handle pulling all those lists on a continuous basis. But we can work with you after that early bird registration date is to tell you who has signed up so far.
Any more questions or anything that you guys would like to see one more time? Any more questions about payment methods, due dates?
There's one person that has their hand up. If you could put the question that you have in the actual Q&A box, we will recognize your question and help you there.
Yeah, and just to kind of point out again, I know this question comes up a lot every year. We know that sometimes people are unable. Some students have to drop out unexpectedly, and if that's after, like Nora said, our deadline, we can swap those students out. So just wanting to reiterate that we can swap out students even if it is past that deadline. So even if it is unfortunate that that student is no longer able to attend, even if you have a student who isn't necessarily competing and they still want to go, you can have that opportunity for them. It is like at that point, it is already paid for. I know there might be a little bit of red tape to figure out the rest of that, but just keep an open mind with that kind of circumstance that if someone drops out, you do have options, even if it is past that point. But again, we do have a strict deadline for full reimbursements.
I do want to say that it has come up a couple of times. Can students that are not competing attend the conference? Absolutely, yes. We want them to. We want them to see what kind of activities that we have available to them. We have breakout sessions going on. We have a lip sync, a karaoke time. We have wonderful keynote speakers. It's also a great time for them to network with other students that are having that same passion that they have. They can make lifelong friends. So definitely they are encouraged, and hopefully even the younger students that come will want to come and compete next year, because there are some open competitions that they can watch as well. So we do not require that they be a member to attend our conference. We may have to do that in the future as we get bigger, but we only require that they're a member to compete. Looks like there's some more questions in here. Somebody did ask conference. It starts on the 28th. Competitions will start at 1 o'clock on the 28th, and we wrap on Monday, July 1st, after our awards ceremony that should end around 1 or 1:30.
The tentative schedule can be downloaded from the website right here.
And I was answering this in a chat, but in case anyone else is having this issue, I'm not sure why this might be happening for you. For the ARES travel, they were saying they were having an issue with the check-in and checkout dates changing automatically to the 26th into the 2nd. I am not seeing that as an issue when I'm doing this. I can keep trying to go through it and see if that happens, and if it does, we will fix that, but I would also recommend trying a different browser. Like Google Chrome, or if you're using a school website or Wi-Fi, maybe try and see if that is happening because of that. So I'm not seeing it happen on my end. But I'm gonna keep looking and see if it'll continue. Yeah, and let me go all the way to the booking page, with keeping my dates the 27th through the 1st. So check your browser if you are still having issues with that, and see if that helps. If not, feel free to contact us with some screenshots of this error, and we can try and figure out what steps need to be taken.
Yeah, that is not our website, so we will have to work with the provider for that, if it continues to happen. Apologize for that.
It worked on my end, right? So I'm not sure what, there's a different issue, so it shouldn't be the website, but yeah, I would check and see if it's, you know, if you're using your school's Wi-Fi, sometimes it can get finicky. And block certain things, or just, like I said, try a different browser possibly. We have Alicia, let's see, deadline for full reimbursement, that is June 1st, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and on each of your invoices,
Yeah. let me
any
pull it up.
invoice you have, you will have a full bottom page that explains explains the cancellation policy, explains where to send payment, talks about our switching out students. So you see your, cancellation and substitution policy.
These are on the bottom of all invoices.
Yep. All payments should be mailed to our address there. It should be a PO box. I know sometimes schools will have either a different address or an older address on file, so do ensure with them that they are using that PO box address for any payments that are being sent via check.
Also, we do not accept POs as a form of payment. We'll receive them because we understand it's a part of the purchasing process, but your fee will only be considered paid once a check is mailed or a credit card payment is submitted.
And definitely pay attention to when those checks need to be in our office. If they are not received, you will be required to pay on site, and we don't want to get into that. That caused a lot of hardships for people last year having to call their schools. So make sure that we have those payments in our office by the date stated.
Yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of us are remote and we do check those as much as we can, but once we're on site, we won't be able to, you know, keep going to that PO box and picking up those payments directly.
So knowing how long your schools usually take to cut a check, I would add like some padding to that and start the process a bit earlier just to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, because we understand it can be a lot of, you know, a lot of clerical work and a lot of different stuff you guys have to go through to get those things paid. So we understand that can be a long process, so just try and keep that in mind when you are doing that. Feel free to keep putting any questions. Anything else that you guys might have questions on, we're happy to answer them now.
Even if they're not conference related.
Yeah, if you have any other little questions, maybe about competitions, you know, we won't go too deep into everything, but if you have any questions that you just need some general info for, we're definitely happy to answer that now. We have the time, so may as well. No, so April 8th is the deadline for early bird registration for the conference and as well as for your competitions. Payment for your conference registration is due by June 1st. So as long, it needs to be received by June 1st. So postmark date versus anything like that, even if you postmark it on June 1st, we need that payment in our office by June 1st. We need to have received that payment physically by that deadline.
And so as you're going through, you can select invoice and let you be able to print off that invoice and still be registered by that April 8th deadline, but not pay by that April 8th deadline. Oh, I love this one.
I
We use
know.
this one all the time. All right, I'm gonna take this one because this is my favorite. How do we transport my students' display project board? We're flying. I'm gonna say good luck, because we have literally there's nothing we can do to help you with this. Many people have checked it in their luggage. We have had people ship it to the conference directly. I will tell you that the hotel will only receive packages about 3 days prior to your arrival, so you can ship it directly under your name. You will have to pay to pick it up because they will ship it into a FedEx location and you will be charged to pick it up. Some have actually taken everything off their board and went to a local office supply store in the area and purchased a board on site and put it back together. So there's a lot of different tricks, but unfortunately, there's not anything we can do to help you other than to give you the advice of others that have done it successfully.
Yeah, and I will say, if you are not a part of our teacher leader Facebook page, definitely go join that page because that question has come up a lot. And we have gotten a lot of good answers from there. A lot of teachers are able to kind of support you in those kind of questions as well. Because they're the ones that, you guys are the ones who are able to get super innovative with these kind of things and have had the experience having to travel with your bulletin board. So if you go to our Facebook page and join that, you can easily go to the top and search up bulletin board and see the conversations that have happened around traveling with those. So highly recommend, if you're not already part of that teacher leader Facebook page, to go ahead and do that.
You can join it by going to the resources page, scrolling down to tips for teacher leaders, and you'll see the first thing on the top is join. And you will need your member ID. So make sure you go to your profile. And this number at the top, you will be asked to provide that so we can confirm that you are a member of Educators Rising, because it is an exclusive Facebook group. It's private, sorry. So please provide that information, and then you will be accepted within a day or two, for sure.
Yeah, and it's a great resource, and especially during conference time, you will get a lot of support and a lot of different questions being asked that you may not have even realized you had. So we highly recommend you joining that. We're happy to answer questions through there as well. And also teachers that have been a part of this for a long time are able to offer you some support that, we may not even think about on that back end.
Yeah, some students share like their packing lists. Some teachers have, what they require all their students to pack, any first aid stuff. It's just very helpful to have as a teacher leader, whether you're new or not.
We do have another question. Will there be any activities or meetups by states for groups to gather with one another? We do not plan any state specific ones with your SRCs. Robin, I don't know if you want to kind of go into any of the other opportunities we have. We do have a lot of activities though, in general, that aren't state specific, but we do have activities that are put together for everyone to attend.
Yeah, and if your state is wanting to get together and do things, that's for them to arrange, but I will tell you there are no rooms available in the hotel for those type of activities, so it would have to be arranged off-site if you wanted to have some sort of statewide meeting or convening or anything like that. Those aren't accommodated through the conference hotel.
Anyone else? Any questions?
And
We've
on
had a lot of
that
great questions come up today, so.
Yeah, keep asking them.
That registration page also has more squares if you scroll down. So for those who are interested in activities or sponsorship opportunities, volunteering, you can also explore all of that down here.
We haven't mentioned our service project for this year is to bring children's books from underrepresented populations as authors. So we're going to be donating those books to a organization called Martha's Table. And so that's going to be our service project. And so we encourage everybody to bring those books with them. There also will be a pre-sign up for the lip sync, not for the karaoke. The karaoke is kind of an on-site, but for the lip sync, we do a quick rehearsal run through, not a full rehearsal, but kind of letting them know what what's going to take place. So we do ask for those, and those spots are limited. So when you see that come out in the newsletter, be sure, and if you have students that are interested in that, get them signed up. Those spots filled up so fast last time that I don't think we had a lot of on-site sign up after that. National signing event, if you have seniors coming with you, encourage them to pre-register for this as well. This is going to be an opportunity for them to get up on stage and actually sign letters of commitment to continue their education pursuit. So it's a really good opportunity for them to kind of be treated like stars, like the athletes are. I know that many schools do this at the local level. We host that local event on, I believe it's May 7th this year, but we also will be hosting it at the national level as well. So it's a pretty cool event.
And on the teacher leader resources page, I believe.
You'll notice a lot of stuff is there.
Yeah,
Got a lot of stuff.
Recurring theme.
A lot of stuff for you guys here.
So there's a section, I believe, down here.
Yeah, there it is.
Did I miss it? Oh yeah, there you go.
Signing day.
So right here, you'll find a template of a certificate that you can use. And there's also the hashtags to have these people recognized on our social media accounts. Please do use these.
It's great if you can involve your principals, superintendents, departments of ed, local universities. So if you've got students, it's hard for us to do it at the national level, but at the local level, you can invite those local universities in that those students are actually going to be attending, and have them maybe give them some swag for signing in or something like that. So it's good to include them.
Well, I'll give it a couple more minutes if anyone doesn't have any more questions. Again, if you were able to join a little bit later, we do have question set time right now. And you can do that in the Q&A section located on the bottom bar of the Zoom meeting. So if you have any questions, if you were a little late, if you have anything you missed, feel free to go ahead and ask it now. And if we don't get any other questions, we may be, I think, closing it down a little early today. So feel free to get those questions in while you can.
Also, we are experiencing a high traffic of calls right now. So if you are unable to get to us immediately, you're more likely to get a quicker response by sending an email to us. You can send that to info@educatorsrising.org. We really appreciate your patience with us during this time of year.